Hey, second graders, Mrs. Cole here. Today we are going to start lesson 2 of our mystery science packet, works of water. So if you could please make sure that you have something to write with, as well as your, work of water, misread it, as well as your mystery science journal work of water. It's got the earth on it. You did a lesson from it yesterday or the day before with Miss Boyd. And there should be from your distribution a gray half sheet of construction paper. So have something to write with and both the packet and the construction paper. And we will go ahead and begin today's lesson. Let's take a moment to pause to gather your materials. And I'm going to get it set up so we can find out what Doug has in store for us today. Okay, so let's see what Doug has here for us for Mystery Science Lesson 2.
Hi, it's Doug. Have you been to a beach before? If you've ever been to the ocean, then you've seen a beach. People of all ages love beaches. Some people like to lay in the sand and the warm sun. Some people, like myself, love to build sandcastles. Now, I don't know how much you've thought about beaches, but it's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, very few places on Earth have so much sand like this. As soon as you walk away from a beach, there's not sand there. It's usually grassy or there's trees. Why is there sand at the beach? That's the mystery we're going to explore today. Why do beaches have sand? Now, this is not an easy mystery to solve. So, to help you out a little, let me tell you about a very special beach. It's this beach called Pfeiffer Beach, and it's located in Central California, along the Pacific Ocean. It's about 4 hours away from where I live. Do you notice anything strange about Pfeiffer Beach? Look around. Do you see anything? Now, you might notice that at Pfeiffer Beach, there's something special about the sand. It's purple. Pfeiffer Beach is a purple sand beach. That is truly strange. Most sand is tan or brownish in color. Why do you think the sand here is purple? Where would purple sand come from?
All right, so why do you think the sand is purple? Imagine that you were at Pfeiffer Beach. How would you look for clues to help you solve the mystery of where the purple sand comes from? Take a moment to think about it. Talk to somebody at your house or a stuffed animal or a toy, or just kind of say it out loud to yourself. Jot down your ideas. And let's keep on going. There we go.
So how could we figure out where the purple sand comes from? Or really, where any sand comes from, even the more common tan-colored sand? Well, what would be nice is if we could look at some sand close up, like under a magnifying lens, or even under a microscope. So let's do that. Let's get a little closer look. Here we go. It's closer. But let's get even more close. Whoa, now we're really zoomed in. When you look at sand under a microscope, like you're seeing here, what do you notice? Well, you can see that sand is actually made of tiny rocks. The one you've been looking at here is more of the common sand, tan-colored sand. And you can see that there's tan-colored rocks there. But there are different colored sands. There's such a thing as green sand. Green sand is made of tiny green rocks. Purple sand, like you saw earlier, well, you can see up close, it's made of tiny purple rocks. Where could tiny purple rocks have come from? If you looked all around this beach, you'd see that there are some cliffs nearby. Now, one idea you might have had is maybe the ocean waves sometimes crash against the cliffs and make that sand. But if you go look up close at the cliffs, you'll notice that the rocks of the cliffs aren't the same color as the tiny rocks the sand is made of. The rocks of the cliffs aren't purple, so it's probably not that. Could the sand come from out in the ocean itself? That's a good idea, but a scuba diver went out into the ocean and found that the only purple sand was the sand near the beach. There were no purple rocks in the ocean out there, just very fine white sand and brown rocks. So where could that purple sand have come from? Where is some place that has purple rocks? For many years, no one knew. But one day, a hiker found rocks like these, some distance away, in some nearby mountains. Notice that the rocks look purple. Their color does look just like the color of the sand. Now on the mountain, there's a sign that tells people to be careful of falling rocks. When it rains, rocks often tumble down mountains and bang into the side of the mountain as they do. Could it be that these purple rocks on the mountain have something to do with the purple sand at Pfeiffer Beach? But if they did, that would mean that somehow the rocks on this mountain are being broken into tiny pieces and then being moved many miles all the way to the beach. What could do that?
Okay, so can you think of a way tiny pieces of these rocks could move from the mountains all the way to the beach? If you're not sure, let's get a hint. The mountain is a high place and the beach is a low place. What do you think? And also think about the title of this mystery science unit. It's called Work of Water. So mountains are high, the beach is low. They need to move. We're talking about water. What could have done it? Let's find out.
If you explore around the mountain to look for clues, you can notice something. All those purple rocks that tumble down the mountainside, they're tumbling into a river that starts at this mountain. Oh yeah, you know something about rivers, don't you? Rivers start in high places, like mountains, and they flow downwards towards low places, usually the ocean. Could it be that somehow these purple rocks tumble into the river by the mountain, and the river carries them all the way to the ocean? But these rocks are big. They're the size of someone's hand or bigger. Even if these rocks got all the way to the beach, sand is really tiny rocks, not big ones. Well, there's another clue. If you look carefully at where a river starts, up in the mountains, you can notice that up here in the mountains, the river water is flowing very quickly. It's fast. The flow is so strong up here that rocks that tumble into it get pushed and carried by the water. There are lots of other rocks in the river too, and so they crash into each other. Remember what happens when a rock crashes hard into something? Could this explain how there's sand at the beach? Why or why not?
Okay, so what do you think would happen if the rocks in the river crashed into each other? Could this explain how there's sand at the beach? Well, think about it. What happens if you take a cookie and another cookie and you bash it together? Or what happens if you take a piece of bread and another piece of bread and you bash it together? It's probably going to start to crumble, right? Well, rocks are pretty hard, but they're not indestructible. We know that. We know we can smash up rocks. So do you think that this could explain how there's sand at the beach? Let's continue on in our investigation.
In today's activity, you're going to be a river. You're a river that starts high in the mountains and ends down low in the ocean. This river roars and pours and rumbles. It knocks big rocks loose and sends them tumbling. You're the kind of river that makes big rocks bash into each other and break. Now, since we don't want bits of rock flying all over the place, the rocks you'll be breaking are made of paper. You'll start with some great big boulders at the top of a mountain. When a rainstorm comes that makes those big rocks roll, you'll tear your paper rocks, ripping them in half and sending them down the river. You'll have to act quickly. The rainstorm doesn't last long, so a timer will let you know when to stop. Then you'll move downstream, tearing the rocks in half whenever the river makes them crash together. And all the way at the end of your river is the ocean beach. How small do you think your rocks will be when they reach the beach? Let's find out. If you're in a class, form a team of 4. Together, you'll be a river. If you're working alone, you'll be a river by yourself. When you're done with this step, click the arrow on the right.
Okay, and since we are doing this at home, you will more than likely be the river by yourself. However, if you have parents, cousins, siblings, any family members around who might be able to help you and might want to participate, they can be a part of your team of 4. Or you guys could be a team of 2 or a team of 3 and just take turns. Okay, let's continue on.
Get your supplies. Each team needs 1 set of these things.
Okay, so this is where our packet comes in handy. So we're going to open up the packet to the page that looks like this. It's a mountain and it's got a river and it's got the number 1 in the top right corner. We need that page and the next one that says 2 and the next one that says 3. You guessed it. And the next one that says 4 and the next one that says 5 out of your packet. So you're going to need to take them out. So you're going to take your packet and unfortunately you're going to have to split it up. Okay, so we've got our pages here and we're going to lay them out in front of us just like it shows on the screen there. You also have your gray construction paper. I'd like you to tear it so that it's into bigger chunks like this. See how I did that? I just tore it one time and then another time in half. We just need big chunks for our boulders. Tear them into big chunks like that. Not super tiny because they're boulders. All right, let's find out what else it is we need.
Notice the number on the top of each page. Put the pages in order from 1 to 5. Then you'll have your river.
Okay, so go ahead and take a second, like I had already said, to put these in the correct order. So you should have it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like it's showing in the demonstration there.
Put all your boulders at the top of the mountain, like this.
Okay, so you're going to do exactly what they're doing. You've got your mountain, you have your boulders. Whoops, I lost a boulder. Watch out, falling rocks. And you're going to put it right there at the top, but it's going to be laying flat on your table.
Get ready. A rainstorm is on the way. Rain will wash the boulders into the river. When the timer starts, everyone is going to grab a boulder, rip it in half, and send the pieces downstream to the next page. Keep breaking boulders until the timer stops. You might not get all the boulders, and that's okay. Are you ready? Set? Go!
Tear, tear, tear! Tear each boulder in half. Tear each boulder in half.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Stop! If some boulders didn't get ripped, that's okay. Leave them behind.
Oh man, whew, that was panicky. Okay, we're gonna do it again. Are you guys ready?
The broken boulders are on the rocky slope, ready for the river to break them again. When the timer starts, pick up the broken boulders and tear them in half and send the pieces downstream to the next page. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Set.
Here we go.
Go!
Take this boulder and rip it in half. Go, go, go. Ah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop! If some rocks didn't get ripped, that's okay. Leave them behind.
All right, here we go again.
You know what happens next. When the timer starts, you're going to tear those rocks in half and send them downstream to the next page.
We
You're
got
making pebbles now. Okay, are you ready? Get set. Go!
Go, go, go! Here, here, go, go, go! Go, 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 go! Ah! Go!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop! If some rocks didn't get ripped, that's okay. Leave them behind.
Get it. Oh boy. That was stressful. Okay, are you guys ready? We've got 2 more sections. Here we go.
The river rolls those pebbles along and they break again. So tear each pebble in half and send the pieces to the ocean beach. Are
Here we
you
go.
ready? Get set. Go!
I'm gonna get them all. Oh, they're so small. Ah!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go.
Stop! If some pebbles didn't get ripped, that's okay. Leave them behind.
Oh boy. So this is what my river looks like. I've got nothing in the mountain. And then slowly but surely the piles did what they did. Oh boy. I hope you guys had just as much success.
On the beach, the waves crash and break the pebbles again.
There's more.
If you can tear them smaller, now's the time.
Here we
Are you
go.
ready? Get set. Go!
More.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop! Okay, move on to the next step.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So when we had that last little challenge that Mrs. Cole wasn't ready for, that's my little pile of sand that actually ended up on the beach. Or pebbles, I guess. Tiny, tiny, itty bitty rocks. All right, let's continue.
Get a Draw the River Rocks handout and draw rocks in your river. Be sure to show where they're biggest and where they're smallest.
So that was the very, okay, so we have our deconstructed Mystery Science Journal. Sorry, it's not the first page. If you have this page in there still, it's not that one. That's the one you should have used with Miss Boyd. It's this one. It says, draw the river rocks on it. You're going to draw what you see here on your map or on your river. You're going to draw that here. So if there's any big rocks here, then smaller, then smaller, then smaller, then itty bitty teeny tiny. Okay. I would recommend, if you're able to use a pencil, or you could even use like a crayon or a color pencil. That might be helpful too. So you can see the color and it doesn't really blend in with your paper, but whatever you choose, whatever you're able to write with. Okay, go ahead and pause the video, take a second to draw on your handout, and then you can unpause when you're ready.
Discuss. After you're done discussing, advance the slide to watch the final video.
So, why is there purple sand at the purple beach? If you haven't figured it out by now, I'll tell you. It's because up at the mountain, that's where we found the purple rocks. The rocks, just like in the activity that we did, tumble down through the river. So they're flowing through the river. And as they're going, they're getting broken up into finer, finer, finer pieces until they finally get to the beach, where by the time they get there, because nature's really good at its job, they're really fine, itty bitty rocks. So that's why there's purple sand at the purple beach, because the purple rocks, the purple boulders from the mountain, were eroding as they went down through the river until the river washed out to the ocean, and it brought all the itty bitty pieces with it. Pretty cool, huh?
So, why is there sand at the beach? Well, now you've seen all the clues, and it makes sense. Whether it's a purple sand beach or a normal tan colored sand beach, the same thing happens. A river starts up in the mountains. Because mountains are steep, the water flows fast and has lots of energy. It moves like a skier coming down the mountain. The water is strong enough to carry rocks down from the mountain. The rocks crash into each other along the way, breaking up and creating smaller and smaller bits each time they crash. That's what sand is, tiny bits of rock that have been carried to the end of the river. Now, some of that sand goes into the ocean, but some of it, the ocean waves push up along the shore, creating beaches. That's why there are beaches. Now, it might have surprised you that the flow of water can be so powerful that it can move rocks and slam them into each other, creating sand. This power that water has, this ability to actually move rocks and sand and carry them somewhere, we give this its own name: erosion. We'll see other examples of erosion in future mysteries. Now, I mentioned that there are different colored beaches because there are rocks of different colors that the sand comes from. There's green rocks, there's blue rocks, there's purple rocks. Many rocks are tan or light brown, so beach sand tends to be the same color. But what if a mountain had rocks of more than one color? Rainbow colors, even. There are a few places on Earth that have mountains like this. Like these are called the Orinoco Mountains, located in the country of Argentina. If you found a river that started here, imagine what kind of sand you might find if you followed the river towards the ocean. That'd be fun to explore, wouldn't it? And there are rainbow-colored sands out there in the world. They're hard to find, but here's a close-up view of the sand at a place called Rainbow Beach in Australia. So in summary, if you ever go to a sandy beach, look for the end of the river nearby. Sometimes you'll notice one right away. Other times you might need a map to find where it is. But wherever there's a sandy beach, you'll almost always find a river nearby that's bringing the sand. Have fun and stay curious.
Okay, so that's the end of today's lesson. I hope that you guys learned a lot about how we make, not how we make, but how sand gets made and the movement of rocks through rivers and water in general. Okay, second graders, this is Mrs. Cole signing off until our next lesson tomorrow, lesson 3. Bye, second graders. See you later.